Welcome, welcome to Black Hour of Power, bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge. We are so grateful for you being here with us on February 28th. If you have made it this far, that means you have made it 28 days, 1 hour every day of perfect publishing, supporting and making known the tremendous gift and contribution of Black leaders in America. And so I just want to congratulate you because you have been here, and I want to congratulate every single person who has participated. I want to thank all of you for participating. Thank you to our CEO and our visionary, Dr. Ken Rashan, aka Dr. Smiley. Thank you. Thank you for this great vision. And thank you for providing a space for us to illuminate wonderful leaders, not only the leaders that we are speaking about, but the leaders that are doing the speaking. And with that being said, I want to bring to the stage one of our greatest hosts. And I say that because this gentleman has taken the idea and the concept of bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge and made it his own and curated at least 5 days himself with wonderful people who came to speak about others. And one thing about this gentleman is he cares about sharing, about making others look good. He cares about this vision. And you know what? We care about him. And so I want to invite to the stage Mr. Russell Thomas. He is a gift to Perfect Publishing. He is a gift to the world. And many don't know that. And one thing about him is he is a connector of people. And so we want to just give you your props, Mr. Russell Thomas, and let you know how we appreciate you and we value you, not just because you have brought people during this month, but because of how you have connected with us and how you have gone out of your way to make all of us look good here at Perfect Publishing and to make our name known in a greater way. So we thank you for your hosting and we look forward to a great culmination this day. February 28th is our last day. So congratulations to you and everyone who is involved. Thank you, and you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Tanisha. I really appreciate you bringing me to the stage this way. I have to say this has been an amazing month, and knowing that we're going to be doing this 365 throughout the year because Black history is living. And I appreciate Dr. Ken Smiley giving me the opportunity and telling me that I was a leader, Black leader on the international stage. I found that very moving, and also just working with you all through this month and you all allowing me the pleasure, the privilege, not only to host, but talk about people like Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Benjamin O. Davis, and the one of the few remaining people from the the Negro League, Dennis Biddle. He is 90 years old. So I truly appreciate the introduction and also the opportunity. And thank you once again. Today, I'm going to be talking about Norris and Alonzo Herndon. Little known facts is that the man was born into slavery 1858. Imagine that, with him being born into slavery, no wealth, no formal education, and no advantages. Yet, through his grit, discipline, and relentless work ethic, he rose to become one of the wealthiest African American entrepreneurs in the United States during the early 20th century. Herndon began his career as a barber, but he wasn't just cutting hair, he was building relationships, understanding business, and studying opportunity. So what he did is that he was cutting hair, but then he went over to Europe and learned how to cut white hair so that his business would thrive and grow. He had it cost, I believe, 10 cents per haircut and 15 cents for a bath in his establishments. And yet, excuse me, and because he was up there building, he opened up multiple barbershops that catered to Atlanta's white elite. Imagine that. You know, you can't come through the front door, but you got there early enough to take care of the white elite and make your money in order to help your community. So building a reputation for excellence and professionalism. But he didn't stop there. In 1905, he founded what would become Atlanta Life Insurance Company. At the time when most insurance companies refused to insure Black families, Herndon stepped in to fill that gap. He provided financial security, dignity, and the opportunity for the community that had been locked out of economic progress. His company not only survived, it thrived and became one of the most successful Black-owned businesses in America. For example, during the Depression, a lot of white companies did not pay their claims. He was the only company during the Depression that paid their claims out to their people, which was significant, especially in the Black community where you know that things were happening on a regular basis. So that was huge. In 1910, at the height of his success, Herndon built his magnificent mansion in Atlanta with 15 rooms, elegant architecture, and handcrafted details. The Herndon home was more than a house. It was a statement. It stood as proof that excellence, prosperity were possible, even in the face of segregation and systemic barriers. But every great legacy depends on the next generation. That generation was carried forward by his son, Norris Herndon. Norris not only inherited just the wealth, but the responsibility. Imagine that. You know, your father says, hey, look, let's have you carry the mantle and move it forward. So when Alonzo Herndon passed away in 1927, Norris stepped into the leadership role of Atlanta Life Insurance Company during some of the most difficult economic times in American history, including the Great Depression. Under Norris's leadership, the company expanded its reach and strengthened its financial stability. He ensured that American life remained a pillar in the African American community, providing jobs, insurance, and also hope. He continued his father's commitment of excellent professionalism and community uplift. Norris also understood the importance of preserving history. He recognized that Herndon Home was not just a family residence, residence, excuse me. It was a monument of progress. Today, the Herndon home stands as a museum, educating visitors about entrepreneurship, resilience, and power of generational wealth through integrity and hard work. This story of Herndon Home is more than an architecture, it's transformational from slavery to success, from inclusion to empowerment. This is about a father who dared to dream beyond his circumstances and a son who protected and expanded that dream. Alonzo Herndon built more than a business. He built opportunity. He built dignity. He built legacy. And the Norris ensured that that legacy would endure. When we look at the Herndon home today, we are reminded that history is not just something that we read about, it's something that is built, preserved, and passed on. The Herndon story teaches us that no matter where you begin, the vision combined with discipline can change generations. That home still stands in Atlanta as proof of excellence, has no boundaries, and that true success is not only measured through what we achieve, but what we leave behind. And I want to add a little bit more of a personal touch. I got a chance to see the Herndon home with my own eyes in 1996. I got a chance to be down there the night of the bombing. Imagine that. And then a couple of days later, to be able to come and see this historic figure, this historic place, and walk through the halls of this magnificent building, 15 rooms. And they not only had American architecture, they also had African art, and also it was amazing. Unfortunately, his wife did not get a chance to actually live in this mansion because she passed away beforehand. I so, but the legacy that they left, that they actually paid during the Great Depression, they paid all of their claims, which was unprecedented at that time. This is truly about magnificent, passed on through the generations. So I am ecstatic about bringing this story to you all. I hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to more stories to be able to be brought about Black excellence in progress. And also, now I get a chance to bring to the international stage author, speaker, advocate, transformational leader, strengthening the community by empowering women through healing, storytelling, and discipleship. Founder of Circle of Trust, leader and champion for and mental and mental health. I have the pleasure of bringing Dr. Shanita Nolan to the international stage. Thank you.
Great evening, everyone. I am super excited to be here with you today. Tonight, I will share the story of a woman whose life embodies the very definition of bold leadership, grounded in authority, courage, and knowledge. That person is Mary McLeod Bethune, who was born in 1875 in Maysville, South Carolina. She was the 15th of 17 children born to parents who had been enslaved. As a little girl, she picked cotton in the fields, but what sets her apart was not her circumstances, it was her hunger. Not just hunger for food, but hunger for knowledge. At a time when many Black children had no access to education, Mary walked 5 miles to school every day. She once said that the moment that she learned to read, the whole world opened to her. She believed something radical for her time, and that is that education was freedom. So in 1904, with just $1.50, unwavering faith, and a vision that was bigger than her resources, she opened a school for Black girls in Daytona Beach, Florida. She began with 5 students. She made ink from elderberries. She used burnt wood as pencils, and she sold sweet potato pies to keep the school open. That small school grew into what is now Bethune-Cookman University, an institution that is still educating students more than a century later. But she did not stop there. She founded the National Council of Negro Women. She advised President Franklin D. Roosevelt. She fought for voting rights, civil rights, and human dignity. She didn't just live through history, she changed it. Now let's talk about authority. Now, Mary McLeod Bethune was not born into power. She had no wealth, no title, no connection. Yet, she carried authority everywhere she went. One night, the Ku Klux Klan decided to come to her school with torches, threatening to burn the school down. Instead of hiding, she walked to the front steps holding a lantern and stood there, alone at first until her students also joined her and the Klan left. That was authority. Authority is not a job title, it is presence, it is conviction, it is alignment between who you are and what you stand for. Later, she would sit in the White House as a trusted advisor to President Roosevelt, often the only Black woman in the room. She did not shrink, she influenced power and policy. Her life reminds me that authority is cultivated through integrity and consistency. In my leadership work, I've learned that people don't follow positions, they follow trust. Now let's talk about courage. Mary McLeod Bethune lived and led during Jim Crow. She organized Black women to register to vote when doing so could cost her her life. She raised money to pay the poll taxes and personally walked women to the polls despite threats and intimidation. Her famous words in her last will and testament said, I leave you love, I leave you hope, I leave you a thirst for education, I leave you faith. Courage for her was not the absence of fear, it was obedience to purpose despite her fear. In leadership, courage looks like telling the truth in difficult rooms, advocating for people who have no voice, and choosing what is right over what is easy. And finally, knowledge. Everything she built started with learning, but she understood something deeper. Knowledge has power only when it is shared. She did not just educate herself, she created pathways for others. She once said, invest in the human soul. Who knows? It may be a diamond in the rough. That is leadership through knowledge, not information hoarding, but people development. As a leadership developer myself, that resonated deeply with me. My work is not about being the smartest person in the room, it is about equipping others to rise. Knowledge becomes leadership when it multiplies. When I studied about Mary McLeod Bethune, I didn't just see a historical figure, I saw a leadership model. She ran an institution, she developed people, she influenced national policy, she built legacy, and she did it grounded in faith. She didn't wait for ideal conditions, she responded to a calling. That inspires me as a leader to walk into every room grounded, purposeful, and unafraid, to lead for impact and not applause, to remember that real authority comes from purpose, real courage comes from conviction, and real knowledge must be given away. Mary McLeod Bethune started with $1.50 and a vision. She faced poverty, racism, threats, and exclusion, and still built a university, advised a president, and changed generations. Her life sends a message to us. You do not have to wait for permission. You do not have to wait for perfect conditions. You do not have to wait for someone else to believe in you before you believe in yourself. You already have what you need. You have authority, so use it. You have courage, so show it. You have knowledge, so share it. Be the bold leader the world needs today. Thank you very much.
I truly appreciate that, Doctor, because I was recently in what's called a shepherd's breakfast, and one of the women that's running for mayor for North Las Vegas said she was told that maybe you shouldn't run. And she had to say, you don't tell a man that, but you want to tell me that as a Black woman who has shown excellence on multiple different levels. And this is the reason why I'm saying this, is because all of you all are very powerful women. And I still have two more to bring to the stage. And like I said with Tanisha, oh my gosh, when I met her, I was like, man, this is amazing. And so just hearing you talk, I'm like excited. I'm getting goosebumps right now because I get the opportunity to bring, the next two people to the to the international stage. And I'm about girl power because I do have my daughter, Faith Thomas, who is very powerful at the age of 28. So thank you, thank you, thank you once again, Doctor. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So the next person that I'm bringing to the stage, excuse me, is Alondria Williams. She is a retired uh, educator, author, ministry leader with a heart for faith-based I can't even talk right now because I'm so excited. Encouragement during 40 years of teaching experience. She has achieved National Board Teacher Certification, which is amazing. She was named Exceptional Children Educational Education, excuse me, Educator of Excellence for the Clinton City Schools in 2018 and was recognized by the state of North Carolina with her fellow honorees throughout the state. As an author, she has created uplifting books. So coming to the stage is an amazing woman once again, and this is Mrs. Alondria P. Williams. Thank you.
You're muted.
We're looking forward to you. Tell us who has influenced you.
Okay. I am going to be talking today about John Barry Meacham. I found his story extremely interesting because he was both an educator and a business owner. He, to tell you a little bit about, actually, he was Reverend Beecham. John Barry, I'm sorry, not Beecham, Meacham. John Barry Meacham was born a slave in 1789 in Goochland County, Virginia. His owner's name was Paul Meacham and moved him to North Carolina, then to Kentucky, where Meacham learned several trades, one of which was carpentry. He met his future wife, Mary, there. And by the time John was 21, he had earned enough money from carpentry to buy his freedom and later to buy his father's freedom. But before he could buy his wife's freedom, she was married. She was moved to St. Louis, Missouri. So he followed her there. And in 1815, yes, she was moved there in 1815, and he followed her there and eventually earned enough money through carpentry to buy her freedom as well. So once in St. Louis, Meacham became a Baptist minister. He became a businessman. He was an abolitionist and again an educator. He founded First African Baptist Church in St. Louis, along with a white missionary by the name of John Mason Peck. They started off by offering religious and secular education to free and enslaved Blacks in St. Louis. They didn't charge anything because they knew that the families could not afford any tuition. So the school attracted up to 300 students. So while the Missourians had originally supported educating Blacks, they felt that that would be a means of strengthening Christianity. But as racial tensions rose, they changed their minds. And so they saw educating Blacks as a threat to slavery. So around that time, when Meacham began his school, once he opened his school at his church, he started at the church. St. Louis, the city of St. Louis, enacted an ordinance that was banning the education of free Blacks. Now they didn't, they irregularly pursued that. They did it and sometimes they did not. I mean, they irregularly enforced it. I'm sorry. Sometimes they enforced it and other times they did not. But it was enough of a threat that Meacham knew that he needed to do something different. So later on, shortly thereafter, in 1847, Missouri banned all education of Blacks, whether free or enslaved. Meacham responded by equipping a steamboat with a library, with desks, with chairs, and opened what was called the Floating Freedom School on the Mississippi River. That was beyond the Missouris, that was beyond the reign or the regulatory reign of Missouri officials, because Meacham had found out that on the Mississippi River, it was federal law that had authority. So that's where he operated his school, and he did that for quite some time. So he was an abolitionist. Him and his wife Mary, along Meacham and his wife Mary, used their home and their church as part of the Underground Railroad. They were able, through the proceeds of Meacham's carpentry business, to free 20 slaves, at least 20 slaves. And each one of the slaves that he freed, each one of the slaves were taught a skill. He taught them carpentry because he wanted them to be able to support themselves. Most of the slaves that he helped were able to repay him the money, which allowed him to be able to help other slaves to be freed. So he had a tremendous impact, a long-standing impact on St. Louis. His school educated both free blacks and slaves. As a matter of fact, one of his students, a gentleman by the name of James Milton Turner, founded Lincoln Institute after the Civil War, which was the first school of higher education for blacks in the state of Missouri. The work of Meacham and his wife on the Underground Railroad is now recognized, commemorated at the Mary Meacham Crossing in St. Louis. This is where the couple led slaves across the Mississippi River to freedom in Illinois. And the first African Baptist church, now known as the First Baptist Church, continues to operate in St. Louis. John Berry Meacham died at his pulpit on February 19th, 1854. So I was impacted and very intrigued, because this is a man who stood for faith in action, education as liberation, because he was willing to risk his personal safety to ensure that others would be both educated and free. He believed in courage over fear, because though he was able to um, operate the school, it wasn't without any problems. He had difficulties several times, but he would keep going back. If he was closed down, whatever they did, he would still go back, because education was imperative for him. He believed in innovation in adversity. I mean, to move the school to the river, that is just amazing. And of course, he believed in economic empowerment. He made sure that each one of the slaves had a skill so they could support themselves. So, how did he influence me? Well, he influenced me because he recognized that teaching is so much more than a job. You can't spend 40 years in a career that you just see as a job. So he recognized it is a calling and also a responsibility. He recognized that it is important to create safe spaces for learning. For me as an educator, that was always a priority. Children need to feel safe and secure. Also, I love the fact that um, he was creative. He found a way to make something happen against all odds. And as a former special education teacher, many of my students had a variety of learning disabilities. They had, well, they learned differently. Let's put it that way. So it was important that I was creative. And now that although I'm retired, I'm also now working consultatively. So I still have an opportunity to work with students and to work with adults. I spend a lot of time working with women, who have different anxieties about, technology or that type of thing. And so he stood boldly in purpose. I love that about him. He knew what was important. He stood on what he believed. And so for me, just as Meacham created a floating classroom, I create safe digital classrooms for women who feel afraid of technology. So, key points to take away: though he was born enslaved, he chose freedom. He purchased freedom for himself and his father, along with others. He founded a church in St. Louis. He created a floating freedom school, and he inspired bold, faith-driven leadership, even till even now today. Thank you so much for an opportunity to share.
So thank you very much. I definitely enjoyed you bringing history to the stage today. Um, Truly amazing. So how can people reach you?
People can reach me. I am both on Facebook and Instagram under my name, Alandra Williams. And they can reach me through my Gmail, alandraw58@gmail.com.
All right, sounds good. And like I said, I'm excited because of you getting a chance to tell us about history in such a way that we wouldn't know had it not been for um, Ken Roshan providing this platform for over the last 28 days, and he's doing stuff to make it beyond the 28 days because of living history. We create history every single day. So thank you very much once again. Appreciate it. And I am looking forward to potentially doing some collaboration with you ladies because you all are very powerful women on this stage. And I'm glad you not only told about history, but you also gave us the opportunity to see you as people because you all are very, as individuals, very powerful, but collectively, truly amazing. So with that being said, thank you once again, Alondra Williams
Thank you
for,
so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you again.
oh yeah, definitely. So next, coming to the stage. Oh my gosh, I've only known her for a few weeks, but her story is amazing. And also she has the same first name as Jasmine Crockett. And I believe she is one of her frat sisters somewhere down the line. She they have similar stories. They both started out as public defenders. It's just that Jasmine is in Congress and Jasmine Spells, Lily Spells, is a district drug judge here in Las Vegas. She is one of three African American judges here, and she does criminal justice. So imagine as a public defender, she wants to make sure that people get the quality, the integrity, the justice that they deserve from the law. And as she moved up, she wanted to make sure that her integrity, her goals, her aspirations matched what she believed in the justice system. So I get the pleasure of bringing to the international stage Jasmine Lily Spells.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening. I am Judge Jocelyn Lily Spells. I am your district court judge in Department 23 if you reside in Clark County, Nevada. I've had the privilege and honor of serving in that capacity for the past 5 years. And an important historical figure who is near and dear to my heart is Thurgood Marshall. I admired him deeply, not only because of what he achieved, but of where he began. His story begins in 1908 in Baltimore, Maryland, at a time when segregation was not only practiced, but socially enforced by law. His father worked as a porter, and his mother was a school teacher. His family didn't have wealth or privilege, but they placed enormous value on education, discipline, and civic responsibility. An interesting part of his upbringing is that his father would take him to observe court proceedings and then later challenge him at home to debate constitutional issues. These early experiences really shaped his intellectual curiosity. It sharpened his belief that the courtroom was a place where fairness must be tested and proven. Marshall later said that his father never told him to become an attorney, but it was those activities and practices of taking him to court and making him argue constitutional issues that really encouraged him to move forward and become an attorney. Thurgood Marshall attended Lincoln University and later applied to the University of Maryland Law School, but he was originally denied admission because he was Black. The rejection became a part of his motivation. He didn't let it stop him. Instead, he attended Howard University School of Law, where he studied under Charles Hamilton Houston, who mentored him and instilled a strategic vision: dismantle segregation through careful, disciplined litigation grounded in constitutional principles. Thurgood Marshall knew that preparation mattered. And so, as a young lawyer for the NAACP, he traveled extensively through the South, often at his own personal risk. He represented clients in hostile environments. He argued 32 cases before the United States Supreme Court and won 29 of 32 cases. If that is not a stellar record, then I don't know what is. You know him through his most famous argument, Brown versus Board of Education, where he successfully challenged the doctrine of separate but equal. Brown versus Board of Education held that segregation in public schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The court recognized that separating children solely on the basis of the race or their color of their skin created inherent inequality and that it really inflicted long-lasting harm. This decision reshaped communities. It opened doors for educational opportunity, it strengthened the legal foundation for the civil rights movement, and it reinforced the principle that constitutional protections must be real, not theoretical. What stands out most to me about Marshall is not just the historic victory, not just the fact that he won majority of his cases, but his temperament. He understood the weight of the judiciary. When he was later appointed to the United States Supreme Court, he brought with him not only brilliance, but lived experiences. He spoke about how constitutional interpretation must consider how the law affects ordinary people, and he deeply believed that justice must always be practical, accessible, and grounded in fairness. Brown versus Board of Education remains relevant today because it reminds us that courts are often where communities turn when fundamental rights are at stake. Courts are that last set of protection where the law is failing you in every other aspect. This case affirms that the judiciary must be independent, it must be courageous, and it must apply the Constitution faithfully, even when questions are complex, even when decisions are socially difficult. As your sitting district court judge in Department 23, his temperament, his understanding of how the law was, and his courage to forge on to argue difficult decisions and to make difficult decisions really resonates with me. I am a trial court judge, and trial courts are where principals meet people. We are the forum where families resolve disputes, where victims seek protection, where contracts are enforced, where constitutional rights are raised in real time. My work is not in the abstract. It requires preparation, neutrality, patience, and respect for the rule of law. Justice Marshall's life also reflects the importance of representation and public trust. When he joined the Supreme Court as its first Black justice, it expanded confidence in the judiciary. It demonstrated that the courts belong to all people and the Constitution protects all people. I am your first Black elected judge to this level of the judiciary. Prior to me, there was one Black woman in this seat, and she was appointed before election. She has been on the bench 4 years longer than me. And we're talking about in the entire state of Nevada, throughout the entire history of Nevada. And it is my belief that your judiciary needs to reflect the fabric of the community. So just like Justice Marshall broke down those barriers and those stereotypes and those racial barriers. That's also something that I have strived to do in my term on the bench and as your first elected Black female judge. Public confidence in the judiciary is essential. It's built through consistency, through fairness, through following the law, not through personal preference. Marshall understood that the judge's role was not to advocate, but to uphold the Constitution impartially. His upbringing, shaped by discipline, debate, and resilience, reminds us that the rule of law is strengthened by those who respect it deeply and apply it faithfully. I've told you that I'm one of your current district court judges, and I'm also running for re-election this November. My personal judicial philosophy is compassion, integrity, and accountability. Compassion because I understand that the issues that come before me are real issues, real people, and real problems. And I recognize that every decision that I make is going to affect not just the lives of the individuals before me, but their families' lives, immediate, and also down to the citizens, the businesses, employees, and employers. I uphold integrity by applying the law without bias and following the rule of law. Ultimately, I'm accountable to the voters. I'm accountable to you. And I do so by making sure that my decisions withstand legal reasoning and review on an appeal. Also do so by remaining in community. I'm not afraid to talk about the decisions, to discuss when I've got it wrong, and discuss when I've made the hard decisions that sometimes people don't believe in. I'm accountable to continue to uphold the Constitution and to follow the rule of law, despite whether or not it aligns with my personal preferences. Thurgood Marshall's legacy is not simply about history. It's about the ongoing commitment to equal justice under the law. It's about our belief that we are going to have a judiciary that reflects the fabric of our community and that upholds the rule of law even against other branches, even against decisions that people are uncomfortable with. Because you have to imagine that Brown versus Board of Education was not a comfortable decision for those judges to make. I stand with you right now, seeking re-election for District Court Department 23 and standing on compassion, integrity, and accountability. You can learn more about me by visiting my website, www.judgelily-spells.com, reaching out to me via cell phone at 702-907-5565, 702-907-5565, or emailing me at info@judgelily-spells.com. And it's LILLY-S like Sam, P like Paul, ELLS. I thank you for the privilege and opportunity to share a little bit about one of my amazing historical figures, Thurgood Marshall. Have an amazing evening.
Thank you, Judge Jasmine. I really appreciate you being on the international stage. Enjoyed you talking about Thurgood Marshall. He was an amazing man. He was the first, so that I'm sure he went through a lot of persecution, just like with the people here in Las Vegas who are African American, who are the first in their position. And you hear about the stories of not only here, but across the country. And like I said, thank you very much for sharing. I want to give edification once again to Tanisha Arnold and the fact that she provides a lot of moving parts in order to make this happen. And also Dr. Ken Roshan, my bald brother, my smile brother, for giving us this platform that we can educate people, not only in our own cities, but the nation and across the globe. So thank you once again, and I will turn it over to you all, you amazing people. And
we're going to ask everybody to turn their cameras
please.
on.
Yes.
Everybody turn your cameras on. We're going to give you a chance to give some final remarks before we close out this amazing month. We've been doing this for 28
28
days.
days.
I know.
And actually, I do not want to impose, but I want to just say, Judge Jasmine, Lily Spells, you touched my heart. If I needed a reason why I did 28 days, you were it. If I just needed one reason, you were it. I'm so proud of you. I live near Thurgood Marshall Airport. I live near BWI, and I believe in this man. And I watched the movie, and you could not have spoken about a better man. I've spoken about three or four, but he is definitely the one I would choose. It was my fifth person I wanted to speak about. I just want to say, I vote for you. I get who you stand for. You stand for the people. And, Russell, you have been upstanding. You've said, I'll take all 28 days if you'll give them to me. And we wouldn't give them to you, but we gave you more than anybody else. And you chose the best people. And I did not go to DC today for Elevating Black, which is an event where I'd be the only white person there. But I want to say I decided to be here because I want to be here because Tanisha said, don't you want to finish this event? You've been 28 days. And I actually called Preston Harris, and he's here right now. And I said, Tanisha asked me to be here to close it out. And I wouldn't feel like I finished what I started. So, Preston, thank you so much for who you are. You're a brother. You're an amazing person. Every person who's spoken has spoken really truly about humanity.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that, yeah, this is Black, bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge, but it was designed to actually wake up a humanity. That's what I did it for. And I did it with my sister, Tanisha, and she has been impeccable every single day, being up for the challenge of actually having a voice for people to actually say the past matters, leaders matter, humanity matters. And so I just want to say thank you. But man, Judge Lily Spells, I can't wait to know you better. You are an amazing advocate for humanity. So thank you.
Yes, we're gonna give everyone you'll get your copy of your speaking. But I also want to give thank you, Ken. Thank you for your kindness, your words, and your vision. We spoke highly of you when we started, but I do want to give Dr. Shanita, Miss Alondra, and Judge Jasmine just a 30 seconds to a minute just to give some final thoughts and how people can connect with you if you didn't say it already, but just so that people will be able to connect with you and what you are doing where you are. Dr. Shanita, why don't you start?
Thank you so much. First of all, I just want to again just thank you all for putting this together. I mean, it's just an amazing opportunity. I've spent more than 2 decades, my work has been focused on equipping individuals, families, and organizations to grow not only in performance, but in wholeness, holistic wholeness, and living lives of significance. And just having the opportunity to spend time working with people who are they are strong on the outside, but quietly carrying pressure, grief, responsibility, adversity, and expectation. But through having someone to come alongside them, speaking and just pouring into them and teaching them that leadership is really it's not positional. It's really about character, servant leadership, and significance has been an amazing calling on my life. And I'm just so excited about it because I definitely believe that in spite of our adversity, that adversity can become advantage. Our losses can become our legacy. And leadership is more powerful when it's rooted in faith and purpose. And so if anyone would like to reach out to me, I can be reached at Circle of Trust Leadership.com or ShanitaNolan.com, also Shanita at circleoftrustleadership.com as well. So thank you again. It was a pleasure.
And where do you reside?
I live in Woodbridge, Virginia.
No kidding. So I have some amazing people to connect you to, and I'm in Maryland. So we will meet for tea.
I look forward to it, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Miss
Nisha?
Alondra, would you give us some final thoughts and how people can connect with you?
Okay, well, um, just a side point. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, now in North Carolina, but you know, um, but you
I'm
can
in
connect.
Atlanta.
So you could connect with me through Facebook or Instagram under my name, um, Alandra Williams. And also, like I said before, my email is alandraw58@gmail.com. I am so excited for that I had this opportunity because education changes lives. And faith fuels courage, and courage builds legacy. So my heart's desire is to help empower others, through faith and through education, so that they are strengthened both spiritually and digitally. There are a lot of people who have gone through a lot and have undue anxiety, particularly when it comes to technology you know and so my heart is letting people, having people to know that there's so much more. There's so much more that we can do. We often limit ourselves. So I thank you again for the opportunity to share.
And
Thank you.
Tanisha, may I just acknowledge this point, is that there are so many people that say they want to make a change in the world, but they don't actually do anything, and they just say it. They don't do it. And all of you have actually said it and done it with being here. And I'm excited about this book. You have no idea that to do this event is to say, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I have people like Russell and Tanisha say, I care. And Dr. Ben Carson, Dr. Freeman Hrabowski III, they caused me to be who I am today. And I know it's probably strange for a white person to say that a Black person could actually cause them to be inspired, but I've been inspired by a lot of people, not just Black people. I've been inspired by Gandhi. And I did this show because I wanted to acknowledge that every leader makes a difference. And who you are being today shares that you are caring about humanity as a whole. And the book is the second phase. The movement's the third phase. The awakening is and by the way, Tanisha is actually inspiring me to say, we want these videos and this curriculum to be in every school system.
Amen.
Because the kids who don't get the light that someone actually fought and someone didn't know how they'd make it, or they didn't know the struggles are worth the actual achievement of fighting through what doesn't seem possible and then making all these differences. These are the people we're speaking about. They didn't go through a little adversity, they went through a massive adversity. And I'm going through a small adversity right now. I'm trying to make people like yourself show up because I care. And it's a big adversity because the world does not know that that's what shifts it into love. And so I'm sorry about all the interruptions, but you're moving me so much with what happened today. And this is the 28th day, and I want to make sure that you hear that I was all 28 days of I love what we're doing. But Russell said, let's do 365. And it's a little trepidatious because just to do 28 was
Yes.
actually out of my comfort zone a lot. And it wasn't because of my color, it was because it's a lot to do this many shows. It's a lot to do this many shows. And so I love the smiles. I love the quality of the speaker and the amount of belief that you have that this platform can make a difference. I want to tell you, you believe in the right platform because we don't do the content, we do the distribution, we do the impact, we do the how can we collaborate, how can we create the movement. So I just want to let you know, when you made these acknowledgments, thank you for the platform. Understand this platform is getting bigger every day because we want humanity to be awakened. So thank you.
Yep.
Tanisha.
Dr. Judge Jasmine, if you want to have final words, I'm gonna get to you, Russell. You're gonna get your words.
And also Preston, by the way, Preston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Last thing, I won't even actually say it anymore, but Preston drove all the way from God knows where to be in an event where OJ Brigance, who is an ALS victim, he was a Ravens player, and he says, "You're inviting me to the event? I'll be there." He drove to the event. OJ is just the epitome of heroism for people that are dealing with muscle debilitation, ALS, and his wife stuck by him. and he has been with it for 20 years. And I encourage you to look up this man who was a champion and is a champion. And my brother died of ALS. And when he died of ALS, OJ corrected me and said he wasn't a victim, he was a warrior. So we all have our things. I mean, if it wasn't my mom getting Alzheimer's, quite frankly, I wouldn't be here because I wouldn't have been awakened that life is precious. But this wonderful woman, Tanisha, this wonderful man, Russell, and this wonderful man, Preston, have caused me to step into a more uncomfortable, but wow, are you a global leader or not? Are you willing to step into global leadership? And I'm just telling you, you are the ones that inspire me that I'm in the right place. So thank you. So Judge Lily Spells, I think you have the next words.
Yeah, final words.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to thank Dr. Smiley, Ms. Carroll, and Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much for the opportunity and believing in me and asking me to speak and share with you guys today. It's been a privilege and an honor. I also want to thank Mr. Harris. Thank you for your dedication. Additionally, I wanted to thank Miss Nolan and also Miss Williams. Your work is so incredibly important because people who are in community work also get tired, right? When you're helping others, you get tired. And so when you're doing work to center on healing, to bring focus to healing, that's for all of us. And it's something that we need to talk about more to ensure that we're having self-preservation so that we can continue and ensuring that our children have self-preservation and that mental health so that they don't burn out. So just I'm so appreciative of your work. I am in Nevada, primarily Las Vegas area, but my position is all of district court. So again, if you live in my area, I'm asking for your support. If you want to reach out to me, whether you live here or not, I am accessible. I'll give you my contact information again. It's a cell phone 702-907-5565. My email is info@judge, Lily, Lilly hyphen spells, SPELLS.com. And my website is www.judgelily-spells.com. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much.
I know you sound like you might be leaving soon. I just want to say the ultimate commitment to a podcast is to give your cell number and your email. So I just want to acknowledge her because that's actually saying I am open. So can we hear from Preston Harris as
Yes.
he was a partner that was, and by the way, he was at the event and he actually stepped out of the event to be here to actually have a culminating thought. So thank you, Preston, my brother.
Hey, I just appreciate you guys. Thanks for the exposure to the speakers. Thanks for making time and taking it seriously and really coming and educating us with some new content. Tanisha, I know you've been running all over the place on calls all day long, but you did an amazing job, and I just want to honor you to the host. Thank you, brother, for the time you put in to bring people out and for reaching out and for making that. Dr. Smiley, hey, you executed the vision, and that's what needs to happen. And so I appreciate you for executing the vision, for taking the time. And I just want to encourage you, like, use your superpowers. We need you. We need
How'd
you
you like
right
the
now.
event last night? How'd you like the event last night?
Yeah. Oh, the event last night was very nice, the ALS Gala, and I'm excited about some of the things that we're going to be able to do with them and just to be able to grow. And like that's, one of the gentlemen who was at the event, Bruce Clark
Bruce
came.
Clark. Yep.
Bruce came to our proximity to greatness mastermind meetup, and I just want to, like, these calls are proximity to greatness. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their greatness and it's on full display on these calls. And so I just want to thank you guys for sharing your greatness. Thanks, Dr. Smiley, for the vision. Thanks, Tanisha, for helping educate the vision. And I'll put my contact information in the chat, but if you want to hunt with champions, that's what we do. And so we're the hunters, not the hunted. And we'd love to have you come hunt with us. So I'll put my contact information in the chat, but appreciate everybody. Thank you.
And I want to acknowledge that Preston was everything I asked him to be for a brother who gave me access to people that would be great speakers for this event. And I wanted to give it back to him at the event last night. He met some of my authors and definitely some of my most treasured brothers and sisters who understand what it is to awaken the world. So, Preston, I'm glad you hopefully saw. I appreciate who you do.
I appreciate you for having me, and look forward to creating more rooms and spaces where we can continue to grow and build together. So appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Tanisha, round
Our
it out.
host,
Round it out.
I'm gonna let Russell.
Round it out.
Yep, we just want to, and I let Russell tell you because I gave him the cream of the crop in intro this
Yes, yes, you did.
when we started. So because we really do value you, Russell, we understand and just appreciate how you have poured into this vision, how you have poured into um, the people. One thing that Russell says every time is, I get to bring people to the international stage. And he takes that very seriously. And he is so proud of his ability to bring someone else to a place of visualization, another bring someone else to a place where they can be seen. And he's not trying to be seen, he wants them to be seen. And that is a gift. It's a gift. Everyone does not have it. And so we want to thank you, Russell, for sharing your gift with us, not just today, but all the other days. Y'all have no idea how calls
It's like
Russell.
6 days, isn't it? 6.
Yes.
Yeah, like 6 days.
And by the way, Russell, you played it beautifully. The person who doesn't say they're great allows others to.
Absolutely. So, Russell, final remarks, because we're not gonna hold y'all.
Yeah, we're not going to hold you. And by the way, Judge, amazing. I need to connect with you. I need to bring you on the big show. I need to help you as much as I can. I loved your message. So awesome. And some of you that spoke, I caught the tail end of some of you. I would love to get to know you better too. Thank you, Judge. Go ahead, Russell.
So when you told me that I was nominated as a leader on the international stage, that blew me away. I had to ponder that. And I truly appreciated my bald brother and Tanisha, because that, I was like, wow. I had to sit there for about 30 minutes and just say, wow. I never expected it. But with that being said, because we're building communities, we're building the people that we're running with. That I asked you all, how many can I at least get 4 days so I can bring other people to the stage? I was like truly excited, not so much by what you had said to me, but the opportunity to bring others with who have amazing stories like Judge, to the international stage. That gave me so much energy, excitement, beauty, to say the least. I'm like, wow, I never thought this, never even imagined that this would happen. So, like I said, with the people that have told their stories, like Miss Comfort, Jadina Smith, my daughter, who I am very much a proud papa, but she has been an amazing young woman in her 28 years. And something is about to happen here in the next month that will truly set her apart from other people in the community. She will be the first. And I'm excited about that. Just like Judge Jasmine is the first, like she said, elected judge in the city of Las Vegas. That's huge. With that happening and knowing the with the positives and sometimes the negatives, that we all have to stand together. Had it not been for you, my smile brother, had it not been for you, I never would have got this opportunity. And I truly appreciate it. Had it not been for you, Tanisha, it has been a joyous journey to be able to walk with you all. And so you have given me much responsibility along with, pleasure and making sure that I am held accountable as far as moving the needle forward. So I thank you. I get goosebumps. I really appreciate you all. I do. And so thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. So,
actually, Russell, I want to just interject that for the ladies that may not know this, I met you at a Women Warriors event, the 8th annual, and you were the first person to show up at the event. And I said, "Oh, my bald brother," and he took that as, "Okay, we really are," and we became. And so, our friendship blossomed into. He's been probably at 12 events that we've just honored leaders, and it's mainly about leadership. I mean, all the events have the underlying theme of leadership. And I just want to say, Russell, you brought it, man. Between Preston, you, Roosevelt, what an amazing partnerships. And you guys are going to see next year how big this gets, because I believe in the ripple effect. I believe in that when we make a stand and we market it correctly, we draw the youth, we draw people that are of all types of races and thoughts to actually come together because of a show like this. And I'm very inspired by what I saw, and I'm glad I didn't go to DC, because I would have been in the car with Preston. I would have said, "Did I miss something?" So I missed, but I did get to see. I got to see part of the Alandra and also Judge's presentation. I was very moved, and I was like, "This is what it's all about." So,
right.
Shanita, I will watch yours later. I did miss yours, so I just want to say, Dr. Shanita, I will watch yours later, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have a beautiful smile. So I'm definitely convinced a smile comes with the abundance you bring to the stage. So thank you.
Yes, amazing. And so,
thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to everyone who has been with us for the last 28 days. Thank you, Dr. Smiley. Congratulations. We did
it. Give yourself a round of
you.
applause. This is actually huge. I mean, we did 28 days.
28 days.
Yeah.
And so we are.
Oh, and by the way, just to show you, that is this crazy number. It is actually 168. It's 168 speakers speaking about 168 inspired leaders, and it might be more, but that's the conservative number.
That's right. 365, baby.
That's right. That's right.
So
God bless all of you.
We're always moving in a forward progression. And so please stay connected to us, because we are always doing something to bring people to a just a higher level and a greater place of acknowledgement. And so join us next Sunday for International Women's Day.
Boom.
We will be hosting a similar event all day. And you are welcome, men and women. You're welcome to be a part of it as well. So please go and sign up. You'll get an email about it. And so please be a part of these events, because it allows you to take your voice from just your community to the world. So thank you. This has been Black Hour of Power, Bold Leaders of Authority, Courage, and Knowledge, February 2026. We'll see you next month.
Amen.
And every day forward.
Thank you.